Hello, welcome to the artclasses.com. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a basic proportion of the face. So basically I did a bunch of portrait tutorial for a long time on YouTube. This one is basically going to be a very how to measure what is the easiest way to measure the face and to carve that out to make it to be as realistic as possible, even though you have reference or you don't, but it would be used as a measurement if you have a reference also. It could be useful, and how to turn the face side to side, and just overall basic stuff to get you started to draw a realistic portrait effectively. Anyways, alright, let's get started. So this is going to be a very basic proportion of the face. In this video number 1 or lesson 1, I'm just going to do the front view. It might get a little refocus here. So basically you want to start off with a circle first. It's getting a little blurred, sorry. It will go away pretty soon. And then I draw 2 lines from each side of the face that come in off to make it look like an egg. But basically the reason I draw the circle first, so that I can have the measurement of splitting the circle in half, so I have an eye line over there, which you'll see later. And that will be a female face if you have like a pointy end, and you can make a square jaw as a guy face if you're doing a little bigger for the jaw. And then I split the face in half. And the reason I draw many lines at a time, because a lot of you were complaining in my earlier video on portrait drawing that it's hard to see, so I have to draw a darker line. And the reason I draw the square part of the face, I mean the rectangle, so that you will be able to imagine the front view of the face becoming just a plane or a panel, as I will show you later on in the video what panel is good for. And now I have half of the circular shape that I make, that line cut in half, I make the eye line, and then halfway in, and then halfway in between this line that cut the circle basically in half, from here to there, halfway in between with the nose to the chin. This part and this part is supposed to be equal, and this is a little off circle, but it's supposed to be halfway off the circle to halfway over here, so that's a little off. But most of the time you have to like cut the circle in half, and then halfway from there to there. And then the lips is halfway from the tip of the nose to the chin. So that's basically the front view. And now I'm drawing a rectangle in the front, and the rectangle in the front, and then you have like the middle spot, so that when you make a facial turn the certain way, you will know that that would help you imagine, instead of, it's easier for you to imagine a face in a cube when you turn it around rather than a sphere or an egg, because then you know which point of the direction of the face go. Like I will show you like on this one, the next one, that I will draw a 3/4 face. So just imagine that plane or the front panel turn sideways just slightly a little bit, and then see from that middle the cross section over there, I turn it onto which I start basically the same circle, and then I just turn this cross onto the side. And now if you imagine that the plane turned into perspective, like that, then you're gonna have the front of the face. So now you have 3/4 view. You understand? If you have any question, post it downstairs, down at the comment below, and I will get right to you. And I will also have the link around here somewhere to pause to the whole process of the drawing the face from front view, 3/4 view, and side view, the whole video. In this video is just going to be only the proportion that I will show you. I'll try to get you to understand the proportion of the face, and this is not by any means the the perfect proportion. It's just to get you started, because sometimes a lot of people have hard time measure where to, and this is the perfect way to start. It's not always gonna be like this. Some people have longer nose, some people their lips are closer to the tip of the nose, and some people their eyes are closer together. And again, one thing I want to mention too is that the eyes, in between the eyes, if it's in the front, it should be about one distance of another eye. Just imagine the third eye in there, and that should be the distance between two eyes. And this is same thing to the side. When you measure vertically, the nose from half, and in this one you can see like I basically cut it in half rather than this one. This one's a little off. It should be a little higher, but I did it pretty quick. So now you have the 3/4 view, and then add hair and everything. So it is a basic proportion of the face that I show you, and I'm going to show you a little more trick. So this applied to most face, if you notice, and remember, in this one, the distance from here, which is a circle basically. Let me go back. A distance from here, the eyes to from the top, it should be like half of the circle, top end of the circle, and the bottom end of the circle. So this one should equal this one from there. And then when you draw the face down here, if it was a guy, you can have a little bit more chin, and then basically from the bottom of the chin and halfway in between usually is equal to the top part. So basically you can divide it into 3 parts most likely, but that would be a circle, and then down there would be another one. So it would be the whole face would be like, you can divide it into 3 equal measurement block, and from the last part you can have the mouth, and mouth will be like halfway from the tip of the nose to the bottom of the chin, and same goes to the side. So there'll be 1, 2, 3. That'll be kind of easy, measurement for the face. But you start off with a circle, and then whatever half size of the circle is, add onto there, and then it will be that. And that's another additional information here. Same, like if you draw a circle here, it will be, sometimes it's getting a little bigger, and the area to the chin is not as long as before. And then halfway, you got this line halfway first, and the first line will be the first that cut half the shadow, and then you have the bottom line that you can re-establish, like the eye that you can draw on, and then the nose is halfway in between that. When you go to the side, the proportion from the bottom of the chin and the bottom of the circle are kind of varies. So, but it's like same here. You see this line that cut across on top of the circle, in the middle of the circle. It will be on top of the eyelid, or that area will be around your eyebrows. But the eyebrows could be a little bit higher or lower, it depends on the person. So that's the first line coming. Just ignore the second line. The second line is like where you trying to measure where the bottom part of your eyelid is, and then measure from this part to the bottom of the chin, halfway will be your nose. That will be like example. So, and yep, that's the one I did earlier. And if you want to compare that to the other one, it might be close, I'm not sure, but yeah, the face basically similar in the measurement, but the plane has to change, and the eyes and all those details. So in this one, same thing. You see the measurement from the top of the head to the bottom of the thing, the circle, and you can establish the top eyelid and then bottom eyelid. But then you're gonna have to change the plane of the face, because this one is coming, it's showing a little better, and that's your square, your cube. So imagine this as a whole plane of the face, and yeah, so that's the whole front plane of the face. And then you got the side, and then, but I'll explain that more in part 3, which I will explain the plane of the face and how you would draw it without the reference, and how to make it so that it doesn't so you can draw it from imagination and you don't have to use a reference. But for the most part, it's if for your practice purpose, you're gonna have to use a lot of reference. And I also draw from reference, and that's okay. You can practice with, without, it doesn't matter. And what I recommended the best is probably go live drawing, and then you probably get more familiar with the light, how the light reacted to the face, and all those things. All right, thanks for watching the drawing face chapter part 1. Lesson 1 on the basic proportion. In part 2, which is the next part, I'll have it here soon. I'll show you how to draw a face in a different direction. I'll show you how to use that plano, or that plane that I show you with the cross in the middle, to change the direction of the face. And you can draw a face up, face down, face sideways, anything you want. But most importantly, measure proportion and know perspective. Alright, thanks for watching the video. Have a great day. Bye. Hello, welcome to the artclasses.com. This is part 2 of drawing portrait or drawing face and head tutorial. In this one, I'm going to focus on drawing face in a different direction. And you can also click this thumbnail to go to the full tutorial of how to draw a certain face. This one is just going to be a basic how to, and how to construct, how to start drawing a face, part 2. And then there's a link to part 1. Alright, let's get started. Part 1, I explain where to start a head. I usually start off using a circle and draw the bottom jawline, and then I split the circle in half and you get the eye line, and then between the circle, or where the top of the eyelid, where that line is, halfway to the halfway from that cross section to the bottom of the chin, you have the bottom of the nose, or the tip of the nose, and then halfway between that you got the mouth. And imagine in the front is a plane that you have cross section here, the cross, and when you turn to the side you got this plane that turns to the side. So basically I will have the link over here so you can go to see the basic construction or basic proportion of the face, and I have a lot more to explain to that. And now we are going to draw the face in a different, your head is facing a different direction. So we have front view and then three quarters, and now I'm going to do the profile. So basically I start off the same, and then I turn the cross onto the extreme right, and then you have the eyes. And then if you notice, just gonna go back for a little bit here, that plane over here is a square piece of plane, and then have cross section, and that one is also a piece of square, or a piece of rectangle. Square doesn't matter. I just call square for no reason, and it's supposed to be like a rectangle. And then there's a cross section here, and it's going to the perspective, so that cross section is where the top of the eyelid should be, and then turn from the full rectangle front or square, but it's supposed to be a long rectangle, and then turn to the side, it's turning that way, going into the perspective, and then this cross, and let's go to the profile side, and then it has this cross section over here. So pretty similar process. Just imagine there's a plane or a piece of square or a plane in front of your face, and as I explained, you have some sort of a cube or a box, and that square in the front panel is the front of your face. So what I'm gonna do here, even though you start off the head with the circle and imagine it as a sphere, and then you have a chin, it's a lot easier to imagine the front of the face to be a plane or a panel. So you can imagine where the face would face up, instead of, if you have a sphere, you don't know which way it's facing. It's a lot easier with the plane. It could be a plane that curve a little bit. So now I'm going to go on the looking up. Same thing, if you notice. And now I established some kind of a nose and the eyes over there. So that is a plane going up. So that imagine this front view, you moving it up, it becomes this. And then the reason it's shorter in the back is because of the perspective. You go into the vanishing point, and you have it's bigger in the front, and as it goes slower in the back. Yeah, you're gonna have to, even in the anatomy or portraits or anything, it's good, it's better to know perspective. So if you imagine this as some sort of a box, that's a front panel that you have, and then you imagine it go that way, and as it go into the depth of the z-axis, or as it go further away, the element get closer. You notice between the eyes and the nose, this is longer. This is the normal length because it's on a normal y-axis. But as you facing up, the distance between the eyes and the nose become closer. Just go into the mirror and you look at your face when you facing straight, and then you're facing up. As you face up and you look into the mirror, the distance between the nose and the eyes become closer, depending on what how extreme you turn, or how, if you turn really up and up, it could be on the same level. But I'm not going to do extreme here. I'm just going to do a little bit of tilting upward, and then lips over there and chin. And now you have the facial all turning up, and the chin line a little bit. And you can, render or drawing face. This is mostly pretty much for a comic or animation or drawing in light drawing and things in that nature, because I think most of the portrait or reference that you will have the portrait drawing as facing up, it's not very flattery, so I don't think it become really popular. But if you need it for the pose, you can like have it look up, the camera look up on the face a little bit, giving the person or the image of the object the subject that you're drawing become a little more powerful. Like, inside view looking up or the person, then you can have like the person look a little more gigantic or a little more powerful. Or the camera that facing face downward, I'm doing the opposite here. I'm having the plane facing down, and it's go the same, but you're gonna see the eyes before, and then the nose and the lips gonna get closer together. This usually portray sort of seriousness or anger. Maybe you could do that with your character. It shows a lot in comic when you like look into the mirror and facing down. And same thing with the perspective goes. The elements that get closer, it will get further apart. Like if you compare the forehead with the cross section here, cross section there, distance between cross section and the end of the forehead, becoming longer than the height is higher than that of the other one, so it's the perspective is switch. Anyway, so yeah, here's a facial direction. And yeah, if you have any requests for more tutorial on how to draw in a certain angle of the head, then or if you got confused in a certain way, leave them in a comment, and I will have a bunch more tutorial at the end of this video, so you can have the full length of how to draw face front view. And then same thing, when you have that panel, it become pretty useful if just draw the panel first, like front, and then you can have a circle. You can start drawing a panel of a rectangle first and then drawing the circle in later, or you can start off with drawing a circle first and then the rectangle panel later. But I think on the side, when you're turning side view or anything, I think draw a panel first. When you turn into extreme view, drawing a plane first is easier than just adding the sphere or the ball, and then it's going to perspective. And the other side is also going to perspective. You're turning on the side, so and then up and front. Anyways, yeah, and I think that this is it. Thanks for watching, and I will have a few more tutorial of how to draw portrait, front view, side view, back view after this. And all right. Hello, welcome to the iClasses.com. This is part 3 of drawing face and drawing head tutorial. In this one, the final installment, we're going to talk about the plane on face. So basically, we're going to simplify how many plane on the face, like right here, and then make it a little more complex, and then eventually I'll explain how to break down and make it simple, and then refining it, where to add light and shadow, and how to apply it onto your portrait drawing and analyze the structure of the portrait that you are going to draw. Alright, let's get started. So I'm just going to start by drawing a basic face here. I usually start off with a circle, and then as before, as you saw in part 1, I usually get a jawline. And this one is going to be a 3/4 view. So as you can see, those two lines vertically, those are the front plane of the faces. I mean the face, sorry. And now I'm getting around to the back of the skull and neck. So I usually try to imagine the front part of the face as one plane. So as you turning left and right, you can imagine the plane going around, because the light will hit the simplified plane, and then from your from your nose, on top of your nose, I'm drawing right here, and then the side of your nose will be a different plane. So just imagine as you're carving a box and having all your head in 3-dimensional, and imagine how many basic planes that will have on your head alone. So you have the eye socket as a plane that's facing down, like the part that below your eyebrows, and the facing down of the bottom of your nose, and on the right of your right when your cheekbone fall off after your front of the face, then that will be another plane of the side of your face, and your upper lips will face down to the bottom, down to the ground. That's what it usually does, a little bit angled, and then the bottom, your lower lips also facing down to the bottom. So that's a basic plane on your face, and this will become really useful once you apply it to when you draw face and trying to analyze and measure what kind of portrait you want to draw. And now I'm just going to draw the side view of the face. And and basically the same thing, but it's a lot easier to see because from the side view you can see the change of plane abrupt, like the bottom of the nose, as you can see, is facing down, and the bottom of the lip, it's a little angle. But I'm just going to simplify it so it will have a similar shadow. And then the same as the side view. So there you go, that's the side. And we're going to use this, and I'm going to explain to you how to apply this onto your drawing, because there's a maquette, what you call, it's kind of sculpture for artists to use this kind of thing, but this is a simplified version of whatever the face will be, like when you in the beginning of sculpting stage. And from this plane I drew earlier, the one that facing the same direction will have the same value, like what I'm gonna assign here. The one that had the same face value is just gonna assign number 1. That's 1 1 1 1 1. So this whole sort of almost white is value 1, and you can just see this line over here that, oops, sorry, this line that's separate over here, 1 and 1, and this is 2 2 2 2 2, same as here, 2 2 2 2 and 2. So that's in general, and side just give it 3. So it's just when you separate the value in general, those number are the one that have the pretty similar in value. Might not be exactly the same, but they're pretty close. If you generalize, trying to break down into just the 3 values, so this would be the 3 value that's this plane assigns to. And from the simple planes that I explained earlier, and combination with this drawing that I have in the different direction of the face from part 1 and part 2. So if you want to assign a plane to this drawing, then I'm just going to draw a simplified geometry shape around this face and paint over it to demonstrate how those planes apply to the real life situation when you're trying to paint a portrait. So I'm just breaking it down. So now it looks like a maquette or a mannequin sculpture drawing. So I'm applying the same value onto the same plane. Eye socket, bottom of the nose, top of the lips, the bottom lip, and then I'll assign the lighter value on the front plane, which is the top of your nose bridge, forehead, and your cheeks, and basically the front plane of your face right there. And the side, I'm just gonna add a little value to that side of your nose and the side of your face. And I'm just gonna, so this, I start off with just 3 value, right? And then it looked pretty geometric, and now I'm trying to break down more planes. So at the bottom of your eyelid, I add a little more shadow on it, so it got one more little plane down there. And around the nose, I try to add a little more gradient around it. And the eyes that face in front, I add a little lighter value on the eyeball. And when your face is tapered down at the bottom, it's receive a little shadow, so I add a little shadow on the side of the face, so it got receive more shadow. So the shadow will be in between the bottom of the nose, or the eye socket shadow, and halfway in between, which is where this receive the light. So you just kind of break down the geometry into smaller pieces. And nose bridge, I broke that down like on top of your nose bridge, right between your eyebrows. It has a little, most of us have a little dent, so I add a shadow there. And also if I break the hard edge between the front plane and a side plane and have one little plane in between, and that would create that shadow on the forehead right there. And so that's on the side of the face. I'm going to try to smooth it out. So the value of this middle in between that front face and side of face will blend them together. And so now we see the application of how to combine those plane. And now I'm going to do the side view of the face. Same thing. I just simplify and assign those planes all together. And just start off with 3 value on the side. And if you want to go into the detail, you can go on the side face and detail. And if you're looking up, this is some people told me that the video I make on the second part is too easy for them, and that's good, I guess. But it gets harder when you're trying to apply the planes and try to make the face look realistic. And now you applying the plane onto the face, same thing. I still keep basically the same value because it's facing up, it doesn't change much. If it's facing down, you might want to change the value of the shadow and light a little bit more. So I'm just going to do the facing up. So I apply the same, plane. Nose bridge, apply a little bit more shadow there so it get a little more shape. And the cheeks and there. So you just basically, if you just apply this basic value, you're already halfway there to render the face. And just add more there, so we define the cheekbone more. And then once you clear that out, you find hard edge, soft edge, then you get all this value around it. So it would be good if you get some maquette for yourself or get some reference of maquette. But to get a maquette for yourself is easier because you can assign the light and you can practice your value at home. I think you can get cheap one nowadays. Some of them are really expensive. It depends on what kind of material you get. Alright, let's move on to the final part. Alright, so now we know why these planes are important. And let's go back to the basic, because when you're trying to do a portrait and make something out of it, you want to go to the basics. So basic, how deep is the nose, or upper lip or lower lip, because it's plane that are facing down. That's what I notice first before I do draw or paint portrait, either live or from reference. So here are a bunch of them, like this guy, portrait that I did a while back. It's fun. He has a pretty deep eye socket, so that's what you notice first. What I usually notice first, so I just measure. That's what you basically measure first, and that's go pretty deep, and that's go the nose. And when you know the plane, if the plane's gonna go deep in there, up on the side or whatever that might be, then that's what you have to decide and notice, and what kind of change of plane they have on the side. So notice that sort of thing, and that will make your job simpler. I don't know why my pen doesn't go. It's going a lot slower. Maybe I record a lot of video in a recent day. Anyway, so yeah, so that's a deep eye socket. And some of them, this Liam Neeson also have a pretty deep eye socket, but I think this dude has a deeper eye socket. And then you run into some, like most women have shallower eye socket. She has a little bit of change of plane that's kind of a little shallower than he does, but she still has some, and her nose is kind of going in deep also, and then you might go there. So you kind of have to notice the change of plane. And then this will go on the side. That might be a change of plane also, 1 and 2. But we want to keep that simple first, so we're just gonna make the side just be the side plane, and then the front be the front, and then we'll break that. I will break that apart later after I have the bigger plane going on, similar to this. And then a lot of or most Asian feature have a shallower eye socket. There's not a lot of shadow going in, but there's some just slightly a little bit plane. But the plane, instead of going like this, say looking from the profile, the nose, her feature would go a little more shallow, and instead of going straight out, it's gonna go up, and that's the nose. And just notice change of planes, and then you look at the feature or facial feature a lot different than before. And same as here, you probably have a shallower eye socket, and the nose probably a little shallower also. And her lips, same thing, facing. Just notice the change in shadow. And her also have a shallower eye socket, but her nose has probably a deeper go. So the nose bridge is somewhat higher, but it's the eye socket ceilings shallower than most men, or in some Western women. Anyways, yeah, so pretty much that's what you can make a good use of, the change of plane in the face. And that's when you look at the reference, you can make a judgment and calculation a lot easier, and distinguish. Now you can distinguish a shadow a lot easier. Like over here, the same shadow would be, say, underneath the lower lips, and because it's a lot of same change. It's like this also. If you want to divide this in half of the face, like you could probably break it into the more change of plane, from that plane to that plane and to that plane. So that plane receive more light, and then the other plane that would go around, and the other plane would go darker. And once you have the side plane, and then you can have the top planes going down, this probably will be similar to this, but then you have to differentiate between left and right. Alright, so that's explaining the change of plane. And one more thing. When you're designing a facial feature, those will come into helps. Like if you want this guy to be like have a pretty deep and heavy eye socket, let me choose a lighter color. Then this guy will have a pretty deep eye socket, and then high nose bridge. So it's come in handy. And this guy have a little shallower eye socket, and then it's going up and things. So those, and this guy has like a kind of big wider nose, like a warrior type, and his eye socket is kind of in between, in the middle sort of thing. So it goes, and it's kind of help you, say if you do one portrait and you start from one, you keep tweaking the portrait and just changing your face a little bit by lower the nose, and then you can change it into another person entirely, and then maybe raise the cheekbone a little bit, or raise the thicken the lips, and making change of plane and size and things like that become pretty useful. Alright, I guess this is the end of the tutorial here. Hope you learned something from it. Have a great day, and check out more tutorial on my channel. Bye bye. If you like the video, please click thumbs up. Also, if you are interested in taking a digital painting classes with me. I have a few courses open throughout the year. Just click top right corner. And if you have any more questions on classes, courses, mentorship, or premium tutorial, feel free to comment down below or just email me. Alright, thank you for watching, guys.